Hi, I'm Shannon Grimm with Shannon Grimm and Partners at Howard Hanna Real Estate Services. Today we're joined by Jeff Whiting from Trinity Homes. And Jeff has been a long time Trinity Homes rep, and he is definitely our favorite Trinity Homes rep
Well,
for many
thank you,
reasons.
Shannon.
And we love having Jeff around, and Jeff knows his product really well and has done a great job there. So, can you tell us a little bit about
Well,
what your
sure.
process is?
Yes, Shannon, thank you. My name is Jeff Whiting. I'm a senior sales consultant for Trinity Homes. I've been with the company over 10 years now. So
It
I've
seems
got
longer.
It does seem longer, doesn't it? We worked together before that as well. But so I have been with the company for quite a while, have a lot of experience. I work with a teammate, George Alshire. We do things together, and that way our clients have two people working for them instead of just one. So that's kind of a nice feature when you work with George and I.
Yep. Which is good when they work with us too.
Right,
Because we're a team.
exactly.
But even though you're a team, the big differences are usually always going to deal with you, except if you're, maybe on a boat in the lake or something.
On a boat and on the lake.
Yeah.
Never.
I'll be their single point of contact, but obviously George has his own experience, I have my experience, and together we provide a lot of help for our buyers and basically walk buyers through the process and make it a fun experience. Building a new home can be stressful. And it's
Super
our job to preemptively take care of any problems so that it's a fun experience, because it should be fun. It's kind of a lot of work, but it can be fun work. It can also be a horrible experience if you don't have the right people holding your hand, and that is not only your sales consultant but also your real estate agent.
And that's also why it helps to have a real estate agent too, is because you've got multiple people going through the process with you, and like if one forgets something, the other one picks it up. So
Yes,
because
definitely.
the buyer doesn't know what the buyer doesn't know. So, and that's why, since we do know, that's kind of why we're there.
Definitely.
And what do you think differentiates you between the other builders in Central Ohio?
There are several things that differentiate us. First of all, we have been in business over 60 years. We are a privately held company. We don't answer to shareholders.
And you also have an owner who owns more land than any other builder.
He's
in town.
probably one of the largest landholders in the state of Ohio. Most of the time when you see a new development going up, it probably started out as our land. We probably developed the land, and that's why a lot of times in our communities you'll see other builders. We actually sell lots to other builders in those communities to help, honestly, to help with the marketing. We don't spend a ton of money on marketing. The other companies
Most builders
do.
don't have to. Yeah.
Exactly. So we have been in business for a long time. We're privately held, and what that brings us is the opportunity to. Our rules are sometimes grayed out. There's a gray area. We can adapt to different buyers' needs. Specifically, the one thing we do that other production builders don't do, is customization. In fact, we don't even consider ourselves a production builder. We consider ourselves a semi-custom builder. All of my homes have options, like adding a bathroom or adding an in-law suite. Every builder has options for homes, but if you want to do something to your home that I can't point and click on, I can do that. Other builders aren't going to be able to do that for you. I've done some pretty strange things to homes. I don't necessarily agree with all of them, but we're building a home for the buyer.
Which is another reason you need a realtor, so they can tell you if that's going to be resellable later.
Correct.
Because I've seen some people that have done some strange things too, and then it makes it almost functionally obsolescent because the next person doesn't want that. It's too specific.
And, if someone's going to say they're going to live in their home for the rest of their lives, then okay, that's
Then do
fine.
what you wanna
And
do,
I
right.
still want them to build the home of their dreams,
Right.
and it needs to work for them. But yes, if they don't intend on living in the home for more than 3 or 4 years, then I try to reel them in on some of the
Right.
more difficult changes that we make for people.
Right.
And I know you can't give an exact number, but maybe a ballpark figure estimate about how long it takes from start to finish.
Currently, we are shooting for 12 to 4 months from date of excavation. What I mean by that is when we dig the hole. And here's where our customization kind of affects that.
Mm-hmm.
It takes us a little longer to get from contract to excavation, especially if you've got customizations, because we have to get those customizations drawn up, priced out, and then we have to add them
supply
to the
line.
exactly.
And approved too. That's the toughest part.
When you're not building cookie cutter homes, it takes longer to get the drawings done and submitted for permitting.
Sure.
Overall, from the date of contract, we're probably looking at 14 to 16 months less without customizations.
Okay.
That's fair.
And then how much are you requiring as a down payment?
We
Or
require
builder deposit, whatever you're calling it.
we require a $5,000 deposit at contract, and then 2 weeks later we require the balance of a 5% deposit. So it's a 5% deposit total, and that again is not a down payment, it's an earnest deposit. It comes back to the buyer at closing.
Right, but then it's basically, if you were putting 5% down on a conventional loan in the first place, then that's going to be the same money that you would have put
Right.
down anyway.
Right.
So it's not really anything different because you're getting that credited at closing.
Right.
so.
I mean, and if you intend on putting 20% down, you still use that money.
Right,
for a
it's
down
still part of
payment, so-
your, you only need to bring 15% more.
Right. And then we finance the cost of construction. So during that build process, the buyer isn't paying anything. You don't have a mortgage yet. You've got plenty of time to shop around for a mortgage, and don't have a house payment until you're actually closed on the home.
Right. So do you have any, incentives for a buyer currently, or?
We have an incentive currently. It is different for different neighborhoods. Most of my communities right now have a promotion where if you use Developers Mortgage Company, our internal, our partner mortgage company, we are offering 3 points towards closing costs, things of that nature. So
Okay.
to buy down the mortgage.
And the buy down the rate too?
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's good too. So
Sure.
we are starting to see rates come back a little bit to normal. Still not where they were when I got licensed, so in the 9s.
Mhm.
So still doing pretty good.
Well, overall, I mean, people are used to what we had a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. But as a whole, if you look historically, interest rates are not that high right
They're
now.
not.
So, and they could go down, they could go up again. But if they do go down, you can refinance.
Right, we'd like to see them somehow in the 5s, kind of just level out in
Mhm.
that 5s, because we don't think we're ever going to see those historic lows again.
Mhm,
Because we
probably
had that
not.
for a long time,
Mhm.
and so it's just crazy how low they were and for how long they were.
Well, and they can only go so low. At some
Right.
point, you're asking the bank to pay you to borrow money from them, and that'll never happen.
That would
So-
be nice, though.
It would be nice.
If only it worked that way.
Mhm.
So what community are you working out of now, and are you able to sell in any community?
I am able to sell in any community. We internally call that cross-selling,
Mhm.
but I can help a buyer, your buyers in any of my communities. I think we have 12 communities all over Central Ohio right now. I was in Wyandotte Woods of Dublin for probably
Long
9
time.
years.
Long time.
Long time.
Only have one lot left in that community, and I just sold my model home, so I'm kind of homeless right now. Although I am splitting my time with my partner George, who is located in a community called Howard Farms, which is Olentangy Schools
And
off
it's
of
a
Cheshire
beautiful
Road.
model.
It is.
It's got that modern farmhouse look.
Mm-hmm. It's a brand new model. Brookhaven's become very popular.
Mm-hmm.
Just 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, but very customizable. And you're right, it's very farmhouse style
Mm-hmm.
home.
Yeah. And then what are your starting prices?
Depends on where you want to be. I have a new community coming online very soon in Hilliard. It's actually the city of Columbus, but Hilliard
Okay.
Schools.
Wow.
That should
It's
be
usually the opposite there. It's usually City of Hilliard, mailing address, but Columbus schools.
which is
Right across the street
My
from a Hilliard
scenario is
school.
great tax-wise
It
because
is,
it's Hilliard
yes.
Schools and Columbus City taxes.
Yeah.
That community, I don't have pricing yet. I'm thinking it's going to be starting in the low 4s.
Okay.
I have another community in Reynoldsburg coming up that will be starting in the 3s,
Okay.
probably mid 3s.
Are you still seeing about 75 to 100,000 in upgrades being put into the home?
And it depends on the home. It also depends on what kind of upgrades you're talking about.
Okay.
Basically, there are 3 kinds of upgrades: design center,
Mhm.
cabinets, countertops, flooring, that
The
sort
pretty
of thing.
stuff.
The pretty stuff. Whether you want a 3rd-car garage or not, that can be a
And
big
that
chunk.
is structural
That is structural.
and should be done up front.
And then there's the customization. I can add bathrooms for you, but that costs money. I mean, typically adding a full bathroom is probably going to be between $10,000 and $15,000, depending on where and how we do that. So it's kind of an odd, difficult question to answer. If you're going with my standard home and not making any customizations and just upgrading design center elements, you're probably adding $20,000 to $60,000, depending on the floor plan. Obviously, countertops are more expensive in a bigger home with more countertops.
That's not bad, because it used to be the standard was you knew pretty much walking into any new construction you were going to be doing 75 to 100,000 in upgrades.
And I think that's still fair to go in with that mindset. I 100% when I work with people, I never try to lowball anything because I don't want buyers to be surprised. I've built homes before, and I don't want buyers to go to the design center and just, for lack of a better term, freak out because they're spending so much money to get what they want.
Yeah, you do a good job at, when you're pricing out, you add it, like, you know about how much each level will be, and you kind of price in a higher level of upgraded cabinets, stuff like that.
It's better to
Just
show a buyer
right.
what it will cost.
Right, the true cost before they get to the design center and have
And
sticker
I
shock.
tell them when they see it, and we can take all of this out before we actually contract. I just want you to see what you potentially will be spending.
Yeah, and it's because it's important to consider all that stuff before you go into contract, because once you're into contract, making changes can have costs and some severe costs if it's a structural.
That is something
if you're
that
changing the footprint or
Right,
something.
right.
the irony with our current situation, and every builder is going to have this problem, because we are having such a hard time with supply chain issues, which isn't actually the main issue. The main issue right now is a lack of contractors.
Yes, lack of skilled workers.
Exactly. So that's why it's taking us upwards of twice as long to build a home as it used to.
I think they said we're short like 3,000 electricians and like 3,000 plumbers or something crazy.
Plumbers,
At some
definitely.
meeting we were at, yeah, they were.
Our biggest challenge right now is plumbers, but electricians is also a challenge.
Yeah.
So what I was getting at is it is taking us longer to build a home, but that is actually makes timelines even more important. Initially you think, well, it's taking forever to build this home. I have lots of time to make decisions. Actually not,
Kinda
because of
don't,
supply chain issues. I mean, I used to be able to let clients pick their front door upgrades when they got to the design center. Now that's part of my structural sign off.
Oh, wow.
I need people to order front doors. It's not because we're trying to be difficult. It's because if I don't get the front door ordered, they're not going to be able to close
Won't have
with
front
the
door.
right front door or without
Right.
a front door.
Right. Okay. Anything else you think a potential buyers should know about Trinity Homes?
Other than the fact that we've been in business for over 60 years, we customize your homes. We build the best quality home in Columbus. There are a lot of things we do in the construction of our homes that you can't see, but I'd love to show your buyers what those things are.
And you're all over the area.
We are all over the area. If someone's interested in building a Trinity home, if they call their agent, have their agent schedule an appointment with me or George, and I'd be happy to go over all the reasons why Trinity Homes is the best choice.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for joining
Thank
us
you.
today. We always love to see you.
Well,
And Marie
thanks. I love
definitely said
seeing
she
you.
wanted to be on the podcast with you.
Well, thanks, Marie.
Well, I get back years with you and your mom.
That's
so.
right.
And to us, your mom was basically our previous brokerage, HER Royalty. So,
Yeah.
That's what I hear.
She
Yeah.
was my first broker, and she taught me the ropes.
Well, I appreciate that.
We loved her.
She loved this job.
She
So.
certainly did.
I don't know that she loved the green, but
it takes some getting used to. So it was a bit of a shock.
Yes.
Red is my favorite color, but as you see, we're embracing the green.
Yes.
well, it looks good. It
So-
looks good.
Getting used to it.
Yeah, and gold. I've even got some gold.
And we're in
so-
Dublin, so I guess we do need to embrace
It is
the
a little
green.
more appropriate for Dublin.
But it's the gold too, the green and the gold.
Oh, okay.
So, but I probably own more gold dresses than any person I know.
Yes,
so,
she does. Yes, she does.
I don't know why. So I was like, well, I guess this could work. I already have clothes that are, gold, just not green and gold together.
Well,
But-
it's not really a close
Yeah.
combination, is it?
It grows on you, though. It grows on you. But anyhow, thanks for joining us today. And just as always, good to see Jeff Whiting with Trinity Homes. And make sure that you follow, like, subscribe, whatever you got to do on all versions of social media at Shannon Grimm Realtor. Thank you.